such a treat for me starting this channel. I never thought I would come to Tampa to do a garden review, but that's exactly what we've done here. So where I live, we're in USDA Zone 7B8A. We're all the way down in USDA Zone 10. I'm with 27-time Emmy winner Mariela Romero and her beautiful home here behind us. And she's going to walk us around, show us some of the things in her yard, and tell us about the history of the property. Mariela, could you tell us a little bit about the history of this property here?
Thank you. Thank you for, taking the time to do this. And hi, everybody. Well, let me tell you, I don't know that much about the history of the house, but I know that the family that built it, they had a similar home in their home state. So they wanted something in a warmer climate and to be with their grandchildren. So they built an exact replica of their home here. For what I understand, the style is called Spanish Revival, but with a little tropical flair because it has the seashells, etc. And the landscaping was totally different when we bought the house. And you see the statues, the fountain over there was practically not visible the way it was before. So we changed it completely. We used to have bougainvilleas on that side of the house, and we replaced the bougainvilleas, to my chagrin, because I love bougainvilleas.
I do too, yes.
Yes, but we replaced them on the pots, and we had the Italian cypress, and then the landscaper architect, he recommended to, for privacy, to have all this new landscape on the sides and also add some tropical flair.
Right.
For the house.
Yeah.
So that's what we have done.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Also, Mariela has started a YouTube channel, Mariela Romero TV. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
I'll leave a link down in the description for that. I've watched a little bit of it. It's in Spanish, so I understand about every third or fourth word. Being in the green industry, I know a little bit of Spanish just from working with such a large Latino population in that industry. But there's some very engaging content going on over there, and so make sure to check out her channel and subscribe to that as well. But let's walk around, let's take a look at this yard. So we've moved down the driveway just a little bit, and the front entrance to this property here to me is extremely stately. Off camera I was talking to Mariela. Dwarf podocarpus that outline these flower beds here. That's something that's kind of unusual for us, Mariela, being further back north. We use a plant called boxwood. And so further south, they use these because boxwoods can't handle the heat and humidity of southern Florida. And so they use these podocarpus. And for the ground covers, they're using Asiatic jasmine. And I just can't get over how beautiful these Italian cypress are. And I'm going to let Mariela tell us about her pots up here because these are her babies, all right? So let's move the camera a little bit. We'll move a little bit closer and take a look at these beautiful pots. Okay, so Mariela tells me that she has a surprise for us about this pot. I don't know what it is, so share with us, Mariela. What's the surprise here?
Well, the surprise is because you said these are my babies. And I have to be completely transparent. I don't take care of my babies. I just love bougainvilleas, and we have a wonderful, wonderful lady that she comes and she trims and she changes the other flowers, and she's the expert on making this look beautiful. Because Thomas, Dr. Plant, I have no idea of how to take care of plants. I love them. I see what I want, and I can articulate, okay, this is perfect, but I don't have the green thumb or the knowledge to take care of the plants.
And I understand that. I get that a lot as well with some of the clients that I help. But this is just a gorgeous pot. So we've got, underneath, we've got some crotons here, and we have some vincas, and looks like we have some coxcomb and some This looks like some sort of Mexican heather here. So there's all sorts of color contrast. If you think about when you plant flowers together, we use what we call complementary colors. So if you think of a color wheel, colors that are on opposite sides of the color wheel play really well with each other. So like yellows and purples, we put those together. Oranges and blues, we put those together. And you can see some of that going on here in this pot. So this pot is really well put together. So whoever's doing your pots, the plant doctor gives them 2 thumbs up and a 5-star. I'll try to get Mariela to share the contact information of her plant person. And if you're in the Tampa area, look them up, because this is just a beautiful, beautiful pot here. There's 2 other pots that I want to talk about, Mariela. They're the ones behind us here, and we'll get some B-roll of that here in a minute. But a foreign concept to me are these fiddle leaf figs that are outside. Okay, so for us in Zone 7B, so Zone 7B, we get down to around 10 degrees. That's like our coldest day of the winter on average. And you're in Zone 10, which means that your coldest is somewhere 35 to 40 degrees, somewhere in there.
Correct.
Fiddle leaf figs we can't do outside, but these stay outside year round.
All year long. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And they are beautiful. They're easy to maintain. And we had them since the beginning of 2021.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So these have been out here for a few years, and they've stayed out here the whole time.
The whole time. No change.
So we had the last Christmas where we're at, a lot of our viewers refer to it as the flash freeze of Christmas 22, where it was unusual for our area. We went from 53 degrees to 8 degrees in 2 hours.
Oh,
and we
goodness.
lost all sorts of plants in our area. Do you remember last Christmas? Did it get cold here?
Not that cold.
Yeah.
No, the month that got a little bit chilly was January.
Okay.
But nothing to
But
be
it
worried.
did nothing to the
It did
fiddle leaf
nothing.
figs.
No. Nothing at all. Yes. Nothing at all.
That's awesome. Well, folks, we're going to go around the side yard and the backyard, take a look at a few things. Wait till you see this backyard. It is, it is breathtaking. So hang in there with us. We're going to move around to the backyard, and we'll be right back. So we've moved around from the front, which is just behind us here, down this side yard. I wanted to stop here. This is just a beautiful walkway that has shells in it and stepping stones. And Mariela was sharing with me off film kind of the development of what you see behind us here. So Mariela, could you share with us how this has kind of changed over the past few years?
Yes. Well, when we moved in 2020, in December of 2020, this was a lot of plants without a purpose, without, it was just plants that were not well taken care of. They were good because they gave us privacy, but there was no concept, and they were not in great shape.
Okay.
So with the landscaper that we hired in 2021, he started to design the tropical concept that we enjoy right now.
So there was no rhyme or reason. It was just a
Exactly.
hodgepodge of stuff, and you brought somebody in to say, okay, we're keeping some of this, but we're also going to add some things into it.
They replaced a lot.
And they replaced it, and it's kind of grown in since then.
Exactly.
And we have this beautiful finished walkway that we see behind us.
Yes.
Here.
And at the beginning, we didn't realize how quickly they were going to grow.
Right.
But, we have a lot of rain in this area, and then everything started to bloom and fill in and become this green paradise.
Yes. And speaking of paradise, wait till you see the backyard. There's all sorts of citrus and tropical fruit trees that we're going to take a look at. So let's move on down to the backyard and take a look at that. You thought that the front yard was beautiful, which it is. Those formal entrances coming into this property were amazing. The crown jewel of this property, Mariela, is this backyard. This is so beautiful. Right behind us here, we have a fire pit that faces west.
Correct.
Overlooks Tampa Bay.
Well, the Clearwater Bay.
Clearwater
Yes.
Bay. It overlooks
Yes.
Clearwater Bay. And so in the evenings, as the sun sets in the west, you can sit here by the fire and watch just beautiful, beautiful sunsets. She has shared pictures of the sunset back here, and they were just, they're to die for. But Mariela, could you tell us a little bit about this backyard?
Yes. Well, let me tell you, this backyard was designed by the second owner, this terrace concept, because he wanted to make this a soccer field for his sons. Because he was from Russia and they loved soccer. So as I understand, this was not terraced this way. So the second owner, he made it this way. But for example, we didn't have the firecrackers that you see right now. So the landscaper architect did that. We used to have a fig tree here, and it was recommended to us that we get rid of it, and it broke my heart. But we have now a beautiful palm tree and a concept that Rick created that I'm going to show you guys. Is very, very cool. Then we have an orange tree, a sour orange tree, and also an amazing mango tree that I want to introduce you to guys, and also a lemon tree. So these are the components of this backyard.
So you have lots of tropical fruit, lots of tropical plants, a beautiful pool, a beautiful fire pit, and it all looks west towards the sunset. It's incredible. Let's walk around and take a look at a few plants. So Mariela, this is such a treat for a lot of our viewers because we cannot grow this where we live. Could you share with us what we're looking at?
Yes. Well, I'm not an expert, but this is, from my understanding, sour oranges. So we don't eat them, but I understand that for some cuisines, like Cuban cuisine, these sour oranges are used to marinate pork and create the version of mojito, which is the real mojito for the pork, that is delicious in the Cuban style of cooking pork. So that's what these oranges are for.
Okay, so these are culinary oranges.
Correct.
So they're not necessarily for making like an alcoholic drink like mojito, but they are used for marinating foods.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So we have a few other tropical trees that we want to look at. So let's go take a look at those.
Wonderful.
I was so excited to see this tree that we're under now. Just a beautiful canopy. I was telling Mariela off of the camera, we could really hang a hammock up underneath here and it'd be a great place to take a nap. But Mariela, could you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yes, this is my favorite tree in the house, the mango tree. And it has been so good to us. The first year, we had a great season of mangoes, and they are the sweetest, the most delicious thing ever. The second year, we didn't have as many, and in 2023, it was unbelievable. We had neighbors coming, we had, the crew that does the landscape, we were giving them bags of mangoes. Beautiful, beautiful season for mangoes.
Oh, that's incredible. Maybe to answer a question, this is totally unplanned. She said that she had a heavy year of fruit and a light year of fruit. So Mariela, sometimes trees will do what we call alternate bearing, where in, like, for example, even years 2020, 2022, 2024, they'll have a huge crop. And then in the odd years, the crop is not as heavy. So maybe I've got to do some research on these trees. This is out of my range.
Okay.
So anything tropical fruit is like my big toes in the water in terms of knowledge. But for example, like where we're at, pecan trees, pecan is a huge crop where we're at, and they alternate bear. They have heavy years and light years, where some years they produce 2 or 3 times as many nuts as they do than the previous year. And this can be recorded over decades, that every other year is heavy, light, and it might be the case here.
With this, probably, but you know what? I am always grateful of the fruits that the tree gives me. And it reminds me also of my country, Venezuela, because in Venezuela we have mango trees everywhere. So the kids, when they get out of school, they climb the mangoes or they shake the mango tree, and we eat them, green or when it's ripe. And you know, every time I eat one of the mangoes here, it transports me to my home country.
I have the same feeling about some plants as well that make me feel sentimental about like a childhood memory, you know, playing with friends or whatever. So I can really relate. Down here below us, Mariela was asking me what this ground cover was, and it's in the genus Archaeus. And these are actually a member of the peanut family. And she was telling me during the spring, you have a heavy yellow flower.
Correct.
Almost so heavy and dense, you can't see the green foliage underneath the flowers. And even here in October, there's some sporadic flowers, and it's just a really unique, interesting plant. And you said your landscaper recommended?
He was the one who planned to have this specific
ground
cover for underneath the mango tree.
Ah, so he's probably worked with mango trees, and he knew we're going to plant this and it's going to do well. That's just fantastic. I want to do some research into this. So sometimes plants have what we call symbiotic relationships, where this plant is providing something that this plant needs.
So maybe that's the case.
Maybe that's the case. I don't know, because here again, all of this is tropical. I'm more of a in a semi-tropical environment, almost a temperate environment. So I have some learning to do here as well. So awesome tree. I wish I could grow this tree in my yard. I just love the canopy. It's beautiful. But let's walk around. Let's take a look at a few more things.
Absolutely.
Perhaps no other tree to me screams you're in a tropical environment than none other than the coconut tree. But before we talk about that, Mariela alluded that her husband Rick had kind of had a plan, and I think you said maybe it had something to do with this below it?
Yes, all these ferns here were his idea.
Okay.
And what you see right now, I never in a million years thought it was going to be like this, so luscious, you know, because they surrounded the coconut tree with the ferns, but they have grown beautifully. And now everybody is like an attention piece in the backyard. And I have to apologize to your audience, because I know that the way I pronounce coconut is a little funny.
No.
Rick,
You probably pronounce it correctly, and it's just us people in the Southeast say it wrong.
No, Rick makes fun of me because of my pronunciation of the O in the coconut.
Okay, no worries. So we planted a handful of ferns, and they just kind of took over, right?
They took over. They love to be in connection with this tree.
Okay.
And, you know, this is where the fig tree used to be.
Okay.
And
so there was a fig.
Yes.
It was cut down, the coconut went in.
Yes, and it is to balance it, because, you know, we have another tree over there. So we needed to have the symmetry. So that's why that is the origin of this tree.
Okay. And the coconuts, have you had one?
My son, Mateo, had one.
Okay. And his thoughts, were they good?
Yes.
Okay.
He opened it up and everything, but I didn't eat it. So I think this is going to be our first taste of the coconuts.
Yeah, you have some really nice coconuts up there. Good luck getting through the shell to the coconut, though. But in all seriousness, this is a beautiful tree. I love what you guys did here with the ferns. This is really, really just neat and special. It's something you don't see every day, just in the average yard. So this is fantastic.
Thank you.
I see these trees all over the property here, and I had to stop and ask Mariela about this tree. But this is what they refer to as a fishtail tree.
Correct.
Okay. So Mariela, could you tell us a little bit about these trees? Were they here when you moved in, or?
No. That was also planned by the landscape architect.
Okay, so.
And what I remember, to be honest with you, is the big trucks with a bunch of plants. And, you know, they did this in 1 week to plant everything.
So all of this in a week?
A lot of things in 1 week.
Okay.
Yes.
So they brought in a big crew, and
it was people all over.
That's incredible. But I actually looked this up because I was so fascinated with this leaf. This is actually a member of the palm family, and it's native to Southeast Asia and to India, and it was brought to southern Florida as an ornamental plant. So this is fishtail plant. I just wanted to point this out to you guys because it's all over the property. It's a unique leaf shape. You don't see this just anywhere, and being close to the water, I think it's only appropriate. It's called fishtail.
Exactly. I love it.
It's a great plant. Such a beautiful property, Mariela. Thank you so much for having us. They're actually hosting my family this weekend. Her and her husband Rick, just wonderful, wonderful people on so many different levels, and just a beautiful house.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this landscape is really something I think our viewers are going to enjoy. So thank you for opening up your home to my family and your yard to our viewers.
Anytime. Thank you.
Make sure to check out her YouTube channel. Again, it'll be down in the description below, MarielaRomeroTV.com. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.